Welcome back to Stark Realities. I'm going to be doing another, well, it's not really a review, but kind of more of a show and tell of some pieces that I'd like to share with the sword, knife, axe, edged weapons community out there. Today, these happen to be kukri. There's a lot of options out there in the kukri market today, going all the way back to museum replicas offerings to, I believe it was Himalayan imports. And now there is a massive amount of makers out there from Nepal, as well as other locations. There are also companies that are making their interpretation of kukri, like traditional Filipino weapons, etc. In regards to the pieces today I'm going to talk about some pieces by a company called Tora Blades. Full disclosure, these were privately purchased by me, for my entertainment, fun, and use. I have no direct connection or special relationship with Tora Blades or the owner or proprietor of the company, Simon Hengel. You could certainly go and do some searches. Mr. Hengel has posted many videos that are both informational as well as demonstrations of products that have come from his company. These kukri are made in Nepal. There have been various incarnations over time. You will see some differences here in the three that I'm going to show today. The older one, and the first one I'm going to show, was from another smithy. I believe the term for a smith in Nepal is kami. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I'll muddle my way through it. So anyhow, different smithies produced different versions. This particular version was an idea that had come up some time ago. I'm going to say close to 10 years ago now, if I remember correctly, where these were rather rough, quote unquote, villager versions of kukri that the average person in Nepal would perhaps use. There are aspects to these kukri that were a little less than traditional. Be that as it may, other aspects of the blades are very, very traditional, especially how the blades are shaped and how much they weigh. Many of the versions that have been offered over the decades were often overbuilt, too thick, or not even properly heat-treated tourist pieces. They ran the gamut. And I was super excited to find a kukri maker that made these in the traditional sense. Granted, these are more or less drop shipped from Nepal, so there's a bit of a wait time on receiving these, but usually the turnaround was not exceptionally significant, 2 to 3 months, if I remember correctly, for all three of the kukri that I ordered. So getting down to it, the first one I'm going to show you is referred to as a Sirupate, pardon my pronunciation, Villager Kukri, and this one is the one from about 10 years ago, a different smithy than the one that is used now. It's a very rough piece. I've used it extensively. I've never had any issues with it. It has held up admirably. I've used it for batoning, splitting kindling, cutting brush, cutting small saplings, you name it, and it is taken it all and shoot it and spit it out, no problem. And this is it. And is she a rough-looking babe? They dispensed with, and I haven't cleaned this up in a while, so it is showing quite a bit of wear and scratches, whatnot. But it comes black with the edge here being bright from being sharpened. But the rest of it is left rather rough from the smith. The comment about the handle that I was making that was somewhat not as traditional is that it's straight. And in my experience, at least looking at native kukri, traditional kukri, more older styles of kukri prior to them being adopted by the British Royal Gurkha and what have you, they would have a curve to them, which you will see in the other pieces that I'm going to be doing here. You're going to see where they are curved down as opposed to this straight. But to this piece, excellent, an excellent tool. Nothing much to talk about as far as its overall looks. It's rough, and it does rough work, and it does it very well. I got a scabbard with it. It did have, it has a frog. I don't have it on it. It did have a burnisher steel in here. It doesn't now. This is the buy knife, which that ended up failing. It didn't have a bolster on it, so it was being used improperly by somebody who shall remain unnamed. It was not me, and it ended up compromising the handle, and it split. But to that point, you can see what happened. So good old electrical tape, remedy for many ailments. But there is a tip. When I got this, it did have a burnisher, and I'll explain why it's not in here. But scabbard's pretty thick. The hide, I don't know what it is. Everything about this is user. It's not meant to be pretty. It's meant to be used and hold up, and that's what it has done. And this was the first one that I bought. So there were many other versions over the time, and the scabbard's loose. It's just kind of the way it is from that particular shop that came out of. So the next one, which is another Sirupate, is called the Sherpa Sirupate, that was from a new smithy. And I can tell you what, talk about a difference in the overall look. You probably may have seen these. These are excellently made. The weight is right where it should be, and they're not thin, and we're talking quarter of an inch. That's more than thick enough. You can see steel bolster. This one is a through tang. Oh, as is this. You can see the peen. This peen is blended in with the cap there on the end. And what I was talking about, the handle shape. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I envision when I see a kukri handle, is this right here. Is that down curve. If I had something else to hold it with so I don't cut myself, because it is sharp, but you clearly can see in this beautiful flare that is such a common feature. But this, I've used this to cut brush. I've batoned wood with it, and not so much as an issue. However, which is a feature that you will see in originals, this one I dropped, much to my alarm. And if you look there, you will see where it broke off. So I was able to salvage the piece, and I glued it back on. Obviously, you can still see that there was a crack there, and that's okay. And many of the originals have these broken off with wear and tear. But this thing is incredibly fast to use. These are made correctly, in my opinion. Some people would differ, but based on originals that very few that I've ever been in contact with, I will caution with that. This is what I experienced. Something very light, very handy. It has a forward momentum, but as it should be. It's the way it's designed. But like I said, very, very, very nice piece. I was super excited about it. This is the scabbard for that one. It's got a military style frog that comes with it. It pretty much comes with all of them. And I was talking about the burnisher. So this is from that other piece, the one I just showed you. And there's a polished one that comes with this. I didn't like it that much. I wanted something that was usable. This is the buy knife it comes with. It's Carta, as referred to. Very nice. Very well done. Decent size, quite frankly, and very useful. Additionally, these have a tinder pouch on the back, though this one, I don't know how usable it is. But be that as it may, beautiful piece. Goes in nicely into its scabbard. In fact, it goes in so nicely that I don't have to worry about it falling out, which is a big deal. And finally, this was the last one that I ordered. It's called a Chettri, and I don't think they offer it anymore, much to my alarm. This is based on likely pieces that are 19th century or earlier. This is what the Gurkha warrior would have carried around on average, unless you were somebody, you know, that was a noble or fancy schmancy. The lines on this thing are amazing. And rosewood handle, polished up, looks gorgeous. Not a through tang. It is a traditional partial tang, which that many of them were done that way. Some people would find that something they don't like, but this thing is a fighting kukri. This is a weapon of war. And what a difference. The Sirupate here could be used for that, but this is a weapon of war. This is something I would envision a kukri warrior or Gurkha warrior carrying a doll shield, one of those round shields with the 4 little domes on it, with one of these. Excellent, excellent weapon. Scabbard. This one's even thinner and finer made than the other. You get your pouch there with this little button, little buy knife. Oops, looks like I got a little bit of polishing to do here, but that doesn't bother me. I use these things, and this is the burnisher for this. Not quite as big, still usable, easily quite usable. It fits right in the palm of the hand, and plenty sharp. These came very sharp and perform excellently. And if you were interested in these, Tora Blades is the place to go. You could look it up online. Very easy to find. Like I said, there's a wait period when you order these because they come direct from Nepal. And I didn't have a problem with that. They delivered actually faster than I anticipated them delivering, which was super awesome. As far as the dimensions on these guys, before I go, this one, 19 inches overall length with an approximate blade length of 13 inches. This is the big boy, this Sirupate. It is 20 inches overall. I like my kukris big, with a approximate 15-inch long blade. All lengths are and measurements are approximate, and this one here is 19.5 by 14 or 19.5 overall with a 14.5-inch blade, and they're all under a pound or very near a pound, and not burdensome in any way, shape, or form. Excellent blades. If you're looking for a kukri that follows traditional lines, you're going to have a hard time beating this unless you go and buy an original. In any event, once again, thank you for checking out my video at Stark Realities. Leave comments below if you have any questions or concerns, or things you'd like to talk about. Have a great day.